And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing, and today we're talking about Maneater. This is a new game from Tripwire Interactive, and it's been dubbed the Shark RPG game. I've been playing it for the past week thanks to an early review copy, and it's out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. My footage here is captured on PC with no spoilers, if you care about shark spoilers. So this is an open world shark adventure, and it's actually pretty solid. You start out playing as like the big bad mama shark until the villain of the story, Scaly Pete, catches you and kills you, and also rips out you, the baby shark that she had in her womb, and then that's you for the game. You eat his hand and he tosses you in the water and leaves you for dead, but you level up and set out on a quest for revenge against the jerk shark hunter guy, and that's really the gist of the game. Thankfully, it doesn't take too long to introduce you right to the core loop. It's actually pretty smart. It introduces you to the big, badass, powerful shark for the intro, and then it cuts it short, and you're a baby shark. So from there, you level up and age and mature and grow bigger and eventually even surpass what the game showed you in the intro. And you become this crazy monstrosity. You're thrust into the fictional region of Port Clovis. After like a brief intro period in the starting area, it starts to open up and you're free to explore and go about your shark way. And what you do is essentially do quests, kind of grind, and hunt for collectibles. It's all pretty simple, but really fun. You can swim below the water completely freely, and you can shoot up to the surface and skim along the top at higher speeds. But diving back down below is where you engage in a lot of the combat elements with other sea creatures and predators. You can bite, which you're going to be mashing the bite button a lot because it's like the main thing you do in the game. You can also tail whip enemies to stun them. There's a dedicated dodge button, and more abilities open up as you progress and level up. Smaller enemies you can bite and then hold onto and bring them around with you, and you can even jump up in the air and use your tail to slap them away from you or into other enemies or objects, which can lead to a lot of really dumb possibilities that are a lot of fun. And also at certain points you can grab your opponent in your mouth and then thrash them around with the analog stick for additional bonus damage. This is the way more fun when your shark becomes big enough to fight other sharks and bigger creatures and predators in the water. It's fun to progress from like a weak little baby shark to a kick-ass sea monster, basically, especially when you engage with humans in the game. There's a lot to do. Chomp on people swimming in the water, gobble them up, or drag them down with you, holding them in your jaws, or again, fling them around. Grab some people, chuck them at others, pop up in mid-air thanks to a high-speed jump, and eventually you can air dash. You can land on boats and chew on some people. You can destroy their boats. You can knock someone off a jet ski and then eat them, or maybe even hop up onto the beach and chew on some unsuspecting beachgoers until you run out of breath and you have to hop back into the water. There's a lot you can do, and just basically a lot of ways you can eat things, and it's pretty cool. Cause enough chaos, you become wanted, and then shark hunters come out to kill you and hunt you down, and it escalates into more and more chaos as they have weapons that can do some serious damage and bigger boats. All of this is so fun thanks to some really insane and over-the-top animations of your shark flipping and chewing and biting and thrashing with style. Thankfully, it helps so it doesn't really get old. Also, there's blood and gore everywhere, like all over the land, on the boats that are on fire and often sinking, and of course, all in the water. It's like a shark violence fan dream come true. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. The only issue is the combat underwater can often feel kind of annoying, for lack of a better word. There is a lock-on system, but it's super loose and weak, and it doesn't really hold on. Since you're controlling the camera and part of your movement with the same inputs, it means that the combat is often kind of like you fighting with the enemies and the camera itself. It can be a little frustrating and weird, but thankfully for me personally, I've noticed that it does kind of get better as your shark gets bigger, and like once you start facing different, more interesting enemies throughout the game. Still, for some, I'd say, depending on your tolerance and your patience, it might be the biggest issue with the game. That or the missions themselves. This might sound bad, but I can explain it afterwards. You're mostly doing the same thing throughout. Explore areas as you work your way through them. It's a map filled with a bunch of icons to go do things. Killing X amount of fish or creatures, or kill X amount of people in certain places. rinse and repeat. Hunt bigger apex predators in the sea who can be pretty challenging, and facing off against them kind of takes a little longer. Then of course boss battle the shark hunters as you kill your way through their ranks essentially to get to Scaly Pete, almost Crackdown style. There's a few other smaller variations, and there's a lot of collecting stuff, be it on the ocean floor or in the hidden nooks or on the land itself. It might not seem like a lot to do, but I'm actually still completely into it because the whole being a shark thing is so much fun. This, coupled with the game's environment. As you get bigger and bigger, you gain access to new areas, and Port Clovis is one big city surrounded with interconnected bodies of water. So there's an area with a sunken nuclear power plant, tons of garbage and trailer parks, and then that makes way to like swampy areas, which can make way to more beautiful open ocean-like areas, to beautiful rivers in the upper class areas of the city, and there's more. Areas are all defined by distinct vibes and color palettes, and there's tons to explore in each section, including like little hidden caves and pathways and tubes and stuff. And it all makes gaining access to a new area pretty exciting. There's always new places with completely new enemies to experience, and things basically continuously escalate on all fronts in satisfying ways that I think more than makes up for the limited amount of quests you can do, because, you know, you're a shark, you can only do so much. It's still better than it kind of had any right being. I also was surprised how into the music I was. It's mostly played pretty close to the chest, you know, simple, often quiet, subtle background music, or nothing at all sometimes as you're cruising around the water. Nice little audio cues during the battle, and moments of violence do a good job of kind of amplifying the situation while also giving you some awareness of what's going on, especially during a battle with other fish. It's a good example of less is more sometimes, you know, despite the absurdity of the rest of the game. It only amps itself up when it really needs to, especially the few down moments. You know, you go to these hidden grotto caves to find safety and solace and level yourself up, and there's always some really good kind of save room Resident Evil style music and a funny quip by the narrator that just really works. It's really appealing. The progression also helps. It's grinding a bit, but you know, it's just doing these quests, endlessly killing and eating and finding crates below water. But it's really fun to make your shark grow into a badass. You can upgrade your sonar vision ability thing, you can level up your teeth and other body parts and eventually completely alter them. Like, you can have teeth that can stun your enemies with an electric shock, or you can have different types of exterior changes like bone armor to protect yourself from certain attacks. They took the shark RPG thing and actually kind of did something with it. You're actually progressing, and you're actually leveling up your shark and catering it a bit more to maybe your playstyle or to an in-game circumstance, and it's pretty fun. And you're doing all of this while exploring the world and experiencing the whole presentation. You know, the game is presented kind of like a TV shark documentary reality show type thing, and it's narrated by Chris Parnell, who you may remember from when Saturday Night Live was actually great. It's actually slightly informative, but mostly just dumb funny, and I'm okay with that. The whole package makes up for the fact that, like I said, there's a bit of a limit on the amount of things you can actually do, and the combat can be a bit annoying at times, but the fun of the violence, the excitement of exploring the environments, and just the sheer thrill of being a shark and actually growing your shark make up for the shortcomings. It's a fun experience, and it's not even a full-price game. I've said it before, but we need more games like this at this level. I'll talk about it more in another video, maybe on my other channel, youtube.com/JakeBaldino. Maneater is full of a bunch of nice surprises, and I think it's great for shark fans, like I said, but also just gaming fans looking for something a little different. You know, not a game that reinvents the entire video game wheel, but certainly stands out and tries something worth experiencing. It takes a new type of concept, being a shark, and drops it in a familiar video game formula in ways that you wouldn't expect. It really works out. I definitely think this one is worth experiencing if you're curious, if you like sharks, if you like games. I say if you like games. Obviously, if you're here watching this video, you like video games. Anyway, that's the before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. What is your favorite type of shark? in this video game, you play as a bull shark. Let us know your favorite shark video game. I actually liked the Jaws one, even though it's considered bad by many people. I don't know. I digress. If you are jumping into this game this weekend, let us know anything you want about it. And if you enjoyed this video and maybe we helped you in your purchasing decision, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. And if you're new, maybe consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Things are getting heated in this war of attrition between man and nation.